One of the most colossal and significant eruptions in history was that of Krakatau in Indonesia in 1883. This was a major world event. The detonations of these violent explosions as seawater and molten rock interacted were heard for thousands of kilometers. The sound waves traveled several times around the Earth. Columns of ash rose up into the stratosphere, carrying gases that changed the global climate. The ashfall blocked sunlight. It exploded so violently that it generated tsunami that ravaged coastlines. 36,000 were killed. But I think of them as friends, and I think of them as my collaborators scientifically. I'm Clive Oppenheimer. I'm a professor of volcanology at the University of Cambridge, and I work on volcanoes. I work on active volcanoes, and I also look at big eruptions of the past. In my career, I've been quite attracted to volcanoes where there's very little prior scientific work. This led me to Ethiopia. I was very interested in how our origins and evolution was shaped by the volcanic and tectonic environment. If we want to go way back, I think it's hard to imagine life beginning on a planet without volcanoes. There's quite a lot of reason to believe that life on Earth may have started in volcanic, geothermal environments with heat and energy and sulfur. This was the environment where life began, where chemistry became biology. Darwin proposed this idea of a primeval pond, that somehow this spontaneously generated self-replicating organisms. And then volcanoes have sustained the atmosphere. The primary atmosphere of the Earth is a result of outgassing the volatiles. Volcanoes are very much sort of linked with our lives. We're made of volcano breath, basically. We're nitrogen and carbon and oxygen and a bit of hydrogen. That's the breath of volcanoes. Eastern Africa is probably the most important site for understanding human origins. It's the cradle of humanity. It's where Lucy, the first upright hominin, was discovered. It's where our ancestors evolved. Maybe it's just a coincidence that it's in this incredibly dynamic environment, volcanically and tectonically, but I don't think so. I think we were born as a species there because of the dynamic geology, the earthquakes generating the topography of the Rift Valley, making lots of diverse ecological niches, the way the rift had made large freshwater lakes that are essential for life. There was obsidian, the volcanic glass, to make tools out of. The rift itself is a natural migration corridor. These volcanoes have very long lives. They've been around long before us as a species, and we've barely got to know them. They've been there as we built our cities and our towns on their flanks. So I think of them in fond terms. There is an association of death and doom and disaster with volcanism, but there is that duality, the creation and the destruction. I don't think it's a coincidence that that's where we were born as a species.